Okay, it shows a little red button. I think we are recording. So, welcome everybody to the March Missouri Evergreen cataloging meeting. We did have to move this meeting up a week, so thank you all for coming. I took vacation last week and I would have come in for it, but gosh darn it, I was really trying to be on vacation. So, I did the thing. All right. First up, that I wanted to tell everybody good news today, cataloging committee news. The cataloging committee has 3 new members. So joining Ron from Sykeston and Nate from Trails and Ruth from Scenic and me, Kate from Jefferson County, we are adding Josh Lamb from Poplar Bluff, Allison Harkins from Cass County, and Quincy Young from Polk County. So we have 7 members of the cataloging committee now, and I am very happy about that. We went from, we had 4 members at the end of the last year. We were working with 4 members for the last 3 or 4 months, and it's been difficult. So I'm so glad to have the extra minds and help in the cataloging committee. And also in this committee news is the cataloging committee is recommending to the executive board that Nate Byrink from Trails Regional be the new chairperson of the cataloging committee when my 2 years as chair is up. I am ecstatic to leave the committee in his capable hands.
Stop.
And we have a question. The committee, we'd like to know how many of you libraries are using the Mark Batch import tool. So that is this, it's different than the Z39. Let me get a new ME screen up. You guys can see my screen all right? I lost everyone's, did I lose everyone? Okay, I see people now. You guys can see my screen? Okay. We want to know if you're using, so I'm not talking about import records from Z39, I'm talking about the batch import here. You either have 1 or, you know, as many as, I do hundreds at a time. This import tool here. So if you could leave a note in the chat, whether it's a yes or no, or you can email me if you have any feedback or anything about it. We're just kind of curious how many people are using it. We're going to be working on this and, you know, trying to utilize it better for our consortium. I do want to let Rachel speak for a minute. We've got a new cataloger for Missouri Evergreen, and Rachel came to introduce her.
Hi, greetings. I'm super excited. And well, in November, we lost our cataloger here at Little Dixie. It was really, really sad. And it has taken this long to find somebody to fill her shoes. And so I am happy to announce that we are welcoming Abby Emerald. Abby, could you wave for everybody? There's Abby. Abby's worked at the library for how many years?
6.
6. She's been at the library 6 years. She's very conscientious, and I think she will do great at this position. So I'm happy to have her on board.
We are very happy to have you, Abby. Please don't be scared away by any of us or any of our plethora of emails that we have bouncing back and forth. If you need any help, you know, don't ever hesitate to ask. Ron suggested to me this morning, I know Diane does this for her CERT committee. We'll start putting the committee members' names and their email addresses in the meeting notes every month. So you know, reach out to any of us at any time. We're always glad to help.
Will do. All right, thank you.
And that goes for everybody. So let's get into some cataloging stuff. I don't have a whole lot on my agenda today. Last month I mentioned a help desk ticket that I had regarding diacritics. We are still, Equinox is still looking into it. I have come across even more examples that I have been able to provide to them. So diacritics are those little accent marks or umlauts or what have you that are on words. oftentimes they are on authors' names. So for some reason with the dedupe, the whole field, if it had any word that had that diacritic in it, that whole field was emptied. So the field is still there, but it's empty. So if you come across that, please do fix it. You can, if you don't know keyboard shortcuts for diacritics, because who does, I just copy and paste from somewhere, usually OCLC or something, wherever I can find the name that has the, well, or the authority record always has the correct diacritics in it. So if you come across those, that's what's up with those. Evergreen is kind of stumped about it. So hopefully it doesn't happen with migrating libraries coming in or anything like that, because it posed a pretty significant issue. I mean, we don't want blank titles in the catalog. And I know one of the major it affected, like Charlotte Bronte, all of her books had been they didn't have a 100 field in them, that kind of thing. So I went through and fixed all of those. So if you come across that, that's kind of what's happening with that. They are still looking into it. Speaking of the deduplication, we are still fixing mismerged items on a case-by-case basis. The document to track these items is not there. Let me see. It is here, and I will link this in the meeting notes. I will say that I don't think it's being utilized very consistently. I admit that I am having a hard time, you know, I email everything and then also adding it to this list. Sometimes I do forget, though I have used it to my benefit as well, because I will put it on this list and then in my email, instead of outlining everything, I'll say, I put these things on the list, please go check and see what's up with, you know, all the instructions are on the list. So if you are fixing something, please try to remember to put it on this list. But absolutely continue to send the email out, because that is mostly where people are finding the information they need to check their items. Let's see. So I will be recording several tutorials over the next little bit. We're going to go over something in a few minutes that is something that I'm going to put a recording on, or I'm going to record the tutorial and we'll put it on the Missouri Evergreen YouTube channel. There are already several tutorials, a lot of CERC things that Diane from the CERC committee has done, and we are going to be adding to the YouTube channel for Missouri Evergreen. The meetings are being recorded and we will start adding them to the YouTube channel as well. So we felt this was important because since all libraries are required to attend meetings quarterly, then you know, watching a recording could come in helpful in some situations. And you can always refer back to meetings as well, especially if I've gone through something and you can watch that back. So on the Missouri Evergreen website, which is moevergreenlibraries.org, it's right here on the front page here. So go check out our YouTube channel and see what we've got there. And if you have any ideas of things and tutorials that you'd like to see, just let us know. So I am going to go over first, anybody have any questions about anything really quickly? Before I go into this, I have been asked by the CERC committee chair to bring something to the cataloger's attention. So I know a lot of you wear a lot of hats in Missouri Evergreen. And so if you place holds, please listen to this. If you need to cancel a hold for any reason, and cataloging situations are a valid reason to need to cancel a hold, please use the notes field to not only explain why the hold was canceled, but to place your library and initials in there as well. this information is imperative for being able to follow up on the hold information and that kind of thing. CERC people, you know, just like we like to put what we did in our cataloging mark records, you know, the 902 field where we put our breadcrumbs in there in case any situation where we need to contact somebody. This is what the CERT people need for us to do if you ever cancel holds. So not only put the note in there, which is of course very important, but you need to put your initials and your library in there as well. So that if anyone has any questions, they can see what's going on. Diane, do you have anything to add to that? Okay, good deal. Okay, so last month we went through adding statistical categories. This month we're going to go over adding holdings templates. So I have a book here that say I'm going to add a holding to. So holdings templates are a shortcut way to fill out the holdings editor screen when adding a copy to the catalog. And you can add as many that are helpful to you. So I'm in the mark record here, and I'm going to go to add holdings. As you know, there's several ways you can do this. Go to holdings view and right click, or add holdings here. This is your holdings editor. So a template is something that you set up in advance, and it fills this out for you with the click of a button. So this is a adult fiction book. So I would scroll down here and pick out, I'm sorry, it's an adult nonfiction. So it's nonfiction adult. This is what we've named ours. And then you hit apply. And as you can see, it fills out everything that I have set it up to fill out automatically. So, and all I did was hit apply and it filled in everything for me. Now, usually if you choose to put a price in there, the price is the one thing that you should consistently look at and potentially need to change. So let's look at how to set those up. So I'm going to go to admin, local admin, and holdings templates editor is right here. So I'm going to make another adult nonfiction just to kind of show you. So I'm going to name it up here, adult nonfiction, and I could name it AF. I could name it, what adult NF, whatever you guys would be more helpful for you to name it. So, and now you go through and you think of generally what the majority of your nonfiction titles are going to need. So nonfiction, it's going to circulate. The shelving location is going to be nonfiction. The loan duration is normal. It doesn't need a deposit. The fine level is normal. And some of these things your library might use and might not use. So for me, for my library, we put everything in process right away so that it shows on the patron side that we have the book, but it's in process, so it's not on the shelf yet. So that kind of tells them that. I do want this to be OPAC visible. We don't use acquisitions costs. We don't use deposit amount. These item notes and item alerts usually come after or some sort circulating library. If you are a one branch system, I would highly suggest filling this out. I am a multi-branch system, so I want to be sure that we are paying attention to that. So I leave this blank so that every time we have to add something, we check to see what branch we're adding it to. Circulation modifier, it's a book. We don't use circus type. We do use age-based 6 months here. These are for a specific branch in our consortium. Most of us will just use these two on top. It is not reference, and I'm going to put a general price of $30 on mine. Like I said, this is the one where I will most likely consistently have to change this price, but I'll go ahead and put that price in there. If that's something that you want to look at every time, you can leave that blank. It is holdable. I don't do quality. That could be an inventory thing that is used later down the road, but right now I don't use it. And then I'm not using any of these stat cats or anything right now. I do have separate templates set up that are set up with stat cats. I don't want every nonfiction book I put in to have that stat cat on it that I have to take off. So I don't put it in my general nonfiction template. I will put it in my nonfiction grant template, perhaps, you know. So I would have two different templates for that. As you could see in the other screen, I'll show you again, we have probably 50 different templates, you know, so you can set up as many of these as you want. And then you would hit save. Let's hit save. So now when I go to an item, I'm going to retrieve my last bib record. When I go to add a holding, and I would fill all this out, and then I would come to my holdings information down here, and my adult nonfiction template is here now. And then I'd hit apply, and everything that I just filled out would automatically apply in that holding with just that one click. And as you can see, like I said, we have several templates. We do have one, and these you can go back and delete them. Like if you have a project like this one, Northwest Friends Juvenile Graphic, we had a grant from our friends group, and we added a whole bunch of juvenile graphic, but that was a one-off thing. So we could go in and delete that now, you know. So anything that you feel like would be helpful to you, and of course, we're all looking to save time. So that's how you use the holdings templates and how you add them. Anybody have any questions about that?
One thing I would throw in, you mentioned the quality.
Uh-huh.
I would recommend not using that, because in the past, when we've used the mediocre setting on it, 'cause there's only two settings, good or mediocre. And when we used the mediocre setting, it made the item not available for holds. And we had to go through and change all of those statuses on them to make them holdable.
Definitely good to know. Any other comments or questions about holding templates? Like I said, my agenda was kind of short for today. Does anybody have any questions about anything before I have a couple closing things? Let me look at, yeah.
Somebody pointed out in the chat that it automatically, when you're using templates, it automatically defaults to in process when you add.
Oh, okay.
holdings. So you don't actually have to select that one.
Good deal. Another good tidbit to know. All right, let me look at my notes and make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. No questions before. Okay, so I just wanted to end with a couple maybe more serious things. First, my monthly disclaimer. Like I have always said, I will say this until I'm blue in the face, and you can all probably chant it with me by now, but we have a shared consortium catalog. No record belongs to one library. Even if there's only one holding on the record, even if one library uploaded the record, even if a certain library edited it last, it is a Missouri Evergreen record, not that library's record. We are all in this together to clean up and fix the Missouri Evergreen Consortium catalog. So if you ever have any questions, or if you're uncomfortable for some reason with editing something, you know, I will tell you 9.8 times out of 10, you are good to go to edit that record. I can't even think of the 0.02 times what scenario would be where you couldn't edit the record, especially if you have item in hand. If you come across any information that would enhance that record, especially if it's a bad record. If you are adding items to a bad record, you need to try to go in and fix those records. And that kind of dovetails with my next point, which is the cataloging committee and the executive board know that being a cataloger for you is not your only job. Like I, said before, a lot of you wear a lot of different hats, and please know that we truly do sympathize with that. We, I always try to give catalogers the benefit of the doubt, but your library joined a consortium. And with that, there's so many benefits. The resource sharing in and of itself is amazing. But it also comes with responsibilities. We all try our hardest to help one another, but everyone has got to come in and pull their weight. I know there are a lot of emails going around about things that need to be fixed. I know that we have meetings every month that you might not always find helpful, but we have always had minimal requirements for cataloging. They have always existed for Missouri Evergreen, but admittedly, they've never been fully addressed. These requirements will be enforced starting this year. And this may require some investment to attend meetings, complete trainings, and to address issues. And please, it's never too late to start discussing this with your director on how these responsibilities can be accomplished. If you need help or an advocate or any information to have that conversation, please just ask. Cataloging can be a thankless job, and it's time consuming. I mean, that's what we do all day. Some of us, I'm lucky enough to be, cataloging staff, but I know so many of you aren't. So if you need help on how to, like I said, maybe talk to your director about what needs to be done, because we will have training coming up that will take a substantial amount of time. Like I said, the new cataloging policy, we have to have every library in attendance at least once a quarter. We have our meetings set every month at the same time, so that hopefully you and your director or your supervisor can schedule those. So my point is just that we all have the benefits of the consortium, but there's also responsibilities. And as cataloging staff, sometimes we may have more of those responsibilities than other departments. Anybody have any questions? This was, we're 25 minutes in, and I feel I'm already done with what I had to talk about. Like I said, in the notes going out, we will be putting the our committee members and our email addresses in there. And I will put all these links in there, the Evergreen website, the new YouTube channel. I highly suggest that you visit those. Before I forget, we are upgrading next month. Please tootle around in our test server. We went over that. We went over it last month, and there's some exciting cataloging stuff in there. The cataloging module is definitely the most changed module in the Angular staff catalog. So please take a look at it. If I have emailed that connection information out several times, if you need it again, just email me. I'll get it out to you again. Maybe I'll just send that out again. Diane, what's up?
I'm hoping that the test server will be upgraded again this Wednesday.
Okay.
It's at 3.6.1 now, and it's got an issue with placing holds. And Equinox told me that they would upgrade it again this Wednesday. So I think it's going to go to 3.6.2, which should fix that holds placement problem. So I don't know that it'll make any other changes, but we'll just, it's like a Christmas present that you get to open over and over again. We can look at it on Wednesday and see if there are, I don't know what time they're going to update it. They usually do that stuff at night, don't they? So it may be Thursday before we see any changes.
Okay. Yeah, those upgrades, like Diane said, sometimes they do put, fixes for things in the, maintenance upgrades and stuff like that. So if you have looked at the test server already and you feel like maybe you're comfortable with it, go ahead and take a look at it again after next Wednesday and see what you think. And I encourage you to keep looking at it up until we upgrade next month. Okay, everybody. Any questions? Again, welcome to Abby and welcome to our new committee members. I'm so happy to have more committee members. And our next meeting is April 12th at 11 o'clock. In the meantime, if you need anything from me, just give me an email and I will see you guys next month.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.